All right, we're back with our tweet of the night. This is from The Late Show with James Corden. Aaron Donald, who had a long day yesterday, shirtless on a parade in Los Angeles celebrating their Super Bowl, was asked to throw the ball through the tire. Now, he's had a few libations, but you know what? The more he did it, the closer he came. And then finally, a little touch on it. Maybe he could be under center, Andrew. That's a pretty good performance by a guy who had a lot to drink that day, plus the sun in Los Angeles, and then he gave a bear hug to James Corden. That's our tweet of the day.
Well, I thought that was better than the throw Mason Rudolph had to Ray McCloud in the Lions game. You know, I'm right about that. Mike Tomlin agreed. He buried him under a Greyhound bus and said he skipped a throw to McCloud. He was very mean to Mason. Bob, it's not just the players. I mean, Tomlin and Rooney both were given ample opportunity to say Mason Rudolph's our guy, and neither one did. They were not very complimentary. All they would say is that the guy's going to compete. They'd say that about anybody on the roster. They all compete. So it's just startling to me that in a very short amount of time, like no one in that organization really believes in the guy anymore.
Well, I think they're also in a position where they don't have, you can argue with me about how many games he's played, but he really hasn't had a full season as the man. I'm anxious to see it only to judge him.
But why aren't they making those excuses for him? Why isn't Mike Tomlin saying, hey,
I don't know
the guy's
that.
Never really had a fair
shake? He said
shake.
it's pretty much
Why?
open. The competition, and I'm sure they're going to bring in somebody else because I do not think there is going to be a viable option in the draft. So they either go that way or they let it play out and see what they got, address other needs, which I wouldn't be opposed to, and then at the end of next year you decide what you want to do with quarterback because you may have more opportunities. But that's going to be the work in progress that we see. Let's go to the Lions, Andrew. We got a lot of people want to talk, beginning with George in Pittsburgh. Hey, George, how are you?
Hello, George.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead, George. You're on.
Hi, George.
Yes, Bob. I've been listening to you for quite a many years over the
Thank you.
baseball, hockey, football, and I'm an avid Steeler fan and all the above with Pittsburgh. But the reason I'm calling is to give you my condolences and my thoughts and prayers for you, for your dog Bentley, because I just went through the same encounter about a few weeks back with my English Bulldog Eli, and it's very difficult.
Isn't it, though? I mean, you give 100% of your attention and love to your dog, and they give it back to you 200%. You know, Andrew, you're a pet lover. You understand, and thank you, George, for the call. I mean, not that I want to get on this topic too much because we have other things, but, I mean, it is hard.
Well,
it never is easy. They're a part of the family, and they give you everything back that you could possibly expect.
Well, yeah, I mean, don't brush it off, Bob. I think because a lot of people can relate and empathize with what you're going through right now. So many of us love our pets. And we know, like you said, there's unconditional love that they give back to us. For example, you know, I go home and, you know, my dogs don't ask me, why am I back on the Jameis Winston bandwagon? They don't say, hey, you idiot.
But they're thinking it, Andrew. They are thinking it. They just can't verbalize it to you.
No, I don't think so. I don't think that they're trying to, you know, criticize me or call me out for things. They love me no matter what.
Right.
Regardless of what kind of opinion I come up with. They support me through thick and thin, and that's what I love about dogs, Bob.
There's no question. And my wife, Lisa, is, you know, she's been with that dog day in and day out, so it's even harder on her. But, you know, we have good memories, and that's all you can take away. All right, let's go out to Lenny in Indiana, Pennsylvania.
Hello, Lenny.
What's up?
Hello. I'm calling in regard to overtime in professional football. I think it should be done like in wrestling. You have your criteria. Example, if you scored 1 touchdown, 6 points, and you kicked 2 field goals, which would be 6 points, game tied, end of the game.
So what you're saying, Lenny, is that you would just rather have a full 15-minute overtime, which a lot of people think would be maybe the best way to go, Andrew. I mean, this is a topic that comes out every year when you have a quick strike like we saw in the Chiefs game. You know, I don't know what to think about it, but I do think it is fair that both sides should get an opportunity with it. And I've said that for years. I'm not going to change it. But what do you think about one 15-minute quarter? Whoever ends up with the lead wins.
Yeah, I'm good with that. I'd prefer that over what they do now. You know, would they say, oh, guys are going to get beat up too much? They're playing 4 quarters, 17 regular season games now. You know, too much to ask? I don't think so. You know, I'd prefer a more equitable result. You think Bills players were thinking about the tax, the attrition? No, they wanted a fair shake. So if that's the point Lenny was trying to make, I guess I'm right there with them.
All right, I want to make a point about baseball because I think these owners and players, both sides, have lost track of the common fan who just wants to see something. And I don't know about you, but we haven't had hardly any calls to this show or any other show we do concerning baseball. And if I'm the leadership of the baseball, not just owners, but also players union, I'd be concerned about that. I just think, I know it's a lockout, it's not in season, but still, nobody seems to care. And they can't even get together. 4 months this is going on, and at 4 meetings, and the last one lasts 15 minutes. Can't you at least talk for a while and try to figure it out? Why does it take so long?
Well, I think the sport, really, the decision makers or the power brokers are delusional. It's really the bottom line. For a long time, baseball was America's pastime. It's not even close anymore. Still generates a lot of money because of the number of games. There's a lot of inventory, but I think fewer and fewer people care. There are a lot of kids that still play baseball. I get that. But just the games are too long of a season. Doesn't hold people's attention span the way that it used to. Like, they're still baseball purists. I really like baseball. But that is a shrinking number of people who feel that way about the sport. And really, the more they're away, I don't think it's a kind of distance makes the heart grow fonder kind of thing, Bob, where, the longer you're apart from something, you love it or appreciate it more. No, I think people kind of forget about it and don't care as much about it. And I don't think the people that are making the decisions right now on both sides really get that.
Do you see them going through the entire spring training and into the regular season? Because I do. I think they're going to get to a point where they're going to force players to accept the fact that they're not going to pay you and you're going to lose games or you're not going to get paid for it. But I do expect at some point, the owners are going to figure it out and get it done. But I don't think it's going to happen before March 31st.
I really don't either. It doesn't seem like there's really any urgency.
Right.
So we're starting to cut it pretty close now. I just don't really sense that there's a lot of enthusiasm on both sides to find middle ground. I think they're both so far dug in that it would be really interesting for them to make up that gap when they're meeting for only 15 minutes a day. I mean, I just don't know. What do you accomplish in 15 minutes? I'm sure you guys have meetings at KDKA that run longer than that. And this is over billions of dollars. And how you kind of divvy up that pie. So, I don't know. I think that's kind of just a slap in the face of fans when you read that today, that they're only willing to meet for that short amount of time.
And I think you hit on it right there. People perceive it as a bunch of rich millionaires and billionaires, having problems when most people have their own issues that aren't even close to that, and that they can't figure out a way to get it done. We got to take a break here. Pony will come back. We have more calls on the way at 412-575-2600. Thanks for joining us tonight. This is the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call, Pittsburgh CW and 93.7 The Fan.